China dies this decade. This is a short version. Their demographics are now so atrocious that we're looking at having the population halve between now and 2050.
Michael Jordan versus Kobe Bryant, Lionel Messi versus Ronaldo, Joe Frazier versus Muhammad Ali. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the greatest rivalries in world history. But get ready to witness an epic battle of predictions between two of the biggest names in the world of finance and geopolitics. In one corner, we have the billionaire mastermind behind Bridgewater Associates, Ray Dalio, who's boldly forecasting that China is headed to become the world's leading economy, leaving the US in the dust. In the other corner, we have the best-selling author and geopolitical analyst Peter Zeihan, who's confidently predicting that China's future is bleak and that it's headed towards certain collapse. The tension is high and the stakes are even higher. The million-dollar question is, who's right? But before we dive into the different arguments, let's take a step back and examine the current state of China's economy. China has undergone a rapid transformation over the past few decades, becoming the world's second largest economy and a manufacturing powerhouse. With its massive population, abundant resources, and an ambitious government, China has managed to become the second largest economy in just 32 years. So what led to this remarkable transformation, you might ask? Well, China's economic journey began with its decision to open its doors to the world in the late 1970s, ending years of isolation and communist policies. The country implemented significant economic reforms that led to a surge in foreign investment, a flourishing private sector, and a massive manufacturing boom. And before you even knew it, China had become the go-to destination for international companies looking to capitalize on cheap labor and abundant resources. So what do Ray Dalio and Peter Zeihan have to say about China's future? Well, let's start with Dalio. Ray Dalio, the founder of Bridgewater Associates, is a billionaire investor who has amassed a great fortune over the years through his hedge fund management. Dalio has built a reputation as one of the most successful investors of his time, and he's known to make bold predictions about the global economy and has often been right in his assessments. One area of particular interest for Mr. Dalio has been China. He's been a vocal supporter of China's rise as a global economic superpower, and his close ties with the country have helped him build his wealth. The hedge fund Bridgewater Associates has been investing in China for decades, and the firm was actually one of the first to invest in Chinese stocks when they were made available to foreign investors in the early 2000s. This early move paid off for Dalio, and he has continued to invest heavily in China since then. Ray Dalio's extensive history with China has allowed him to establish deep connections with several prominent Chinese elites, including former Premier Wen Jiabao. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but I gave him my best shot. But since Dalio has been publicly praising China, he's earned the nickname the China Bull. So what are his arguments for China's ascent to global dominance? Let's take a closer look. So the China Bull argues that China is well positioned to become the world's dominant economic power, surpassing the United States. He cites several factors that contribute to China's rise, including its large and growing middle class, its investment in infrastructure, and its increasing technological capabilities. Additionally, China's government has a long-term strategic plan for economic growth, and the country has made significant progress in implementing it. Dalio acknowledges that there are challenges facing China, such as its high debt levels and environmental issues, but he believes that these challenges are manageable and that China has the potential to continue its growth trajectory. Overall, Dalio's views reflect his long-standing relationship with China and his belief in its potential as a global economic powerhouse. So now you know Dalio's stance, let's take a look at who Peter Zeihan is and what his predictions are about the future of China. As a renowned geopolitical strategist, Zeihan has made a career out of unraveling the mysteries of international relations, from analyzing economic trends to predicting political turbulence. He focuses on the relationships between countries, economies, and political systems. Geopolitical strategists like Zeihan analyze the political, economic, and social factors that shape the global landscape and how they interact with each other. They use this knowledge to predict potential conflicts, alliances, and geopolitical trends that could impact countries' economies and foreign policies. By understanding these complex relationships and their potential implications, Zeihan can help businesses and governments make informed decisions on issues. According to Zeihan, China's economic model is fundamentally flawed and cannot be sustained. He predicts that China's growth will slow down significantly in the coming years and that the country will struggle to maintain its current level of prosperity. In addition, he argues that China's government is becoming increasingly oppressive and that this will eventually lead to a popular uprising. Just check out this clip of Zeihan explaining how China will collapse in the not-so-distant future.
China dies this decade. This is a short version. Their demographics are now so atrocious that we're looking at having the population halve between now and 2050, and that's primarily through aging. That assumes no breakdowns in the input systems that allows them to have energy and grow their food. With just that, the entire economic model will collapse before 2030. If we have disruptions to energy, and this is a country that imports everything in its energy sector, you are looking at a deindustrialization well before that. And with COVID, we're seeing manufacturers up and leave as quickly as they possibly can, because this is now the new norm for China. China's vaccine doesn't work versus Omicron B. And so China is no longer a partner in reliable international supply chains. So everything that can go wrong in China right now is going wrong. The Ukraine war is particularly problematic because it means they're going to lose energy from the Russian space and probably even a lot of food from the Russian space. They're probably the biggest losers out of the war after the Ukrainians themselves, obviously, because they're the last country in the kick line. Everyone else gets their stuff first.
So Zeihan says that China's demographic situation is so dire that the country may collapse within this decade. This is due to the aging population, which could lead to a population decline by 2050, assuming no breakdowns in the input systems for energy and food. Moreover, the pandemic has caused manufacturers to leave China quickly, making the country less reliable in international supply chains. The situation in Ukraine is also problematic for China, as it could lead to a loss of energy and food from the Russian space, making China one of the biggest losers of the war. Now back to the million-dollar question. Who's right, Dalio or Zeihan? Well, both experts have weaknesses in their arguments. While billionaire Ray Dalio has made bold predictions about China's economic future, his views may lack credibility due to his long-standing relationship with China and the potential for biased analysis due to his vested interest. Similarly, Peter Zeihan's prediction of China's inevitable downfall is challenged by sources such as the United Nations and the Chinese Census Authority. Although Dalio and Zeihan's views are polar opposites and at times their predictions can be extreme, I'm of the opinion that the reality of China's economic future will lie somewhere in between their perspectives. It's essential to consider both the potential challenges and opportunities that China faces and to recognize that the future is not predetermined. Looking back at history, for example, I see similarities between the US-China economic competition and Japan's rise in the 1980s. While Japan's growth eventually stalled, it is still a major economic power. Similarly, China may face challenges, but it will likely continue to be a dominant player on the world stage. So, what do you think about the future of China? Are we headed towards a collapse of the Chinese economy, or will it inevitably become the largest in the world? Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and make sure to hit that subscribe button for more updates on finance, geopolitics, and investment opportunities. But if you like this video, you should definitely check out this other one where Peter Zeihan talks about a potential nuclear war if Ukraine loses to Putin.